Good evening. My name is Kristin Latour, and I am one of the poetry readers for Waterline, which I am very pleased to add to my list of things that I do. And I was asked to be the judge for the poetry contest this year, which was also a great honor. I didn't have the same trepidation as Anne. I think I just was open to whatever came. It will come, and I will read it, and it will be okay. And pardon? So zen. Yes, it was very zen. Can't control it, let it go. And I've told a couple of people this, the times when I judge, I'm always kind of worried, like, oh wait, what if the really good stuff isn't there? What if it's like all this depressing stuff? Because with this topic, I was a little concerned that it would just all be depressing and I would want to cry. I did not cry, which was lovely. So I went into this in the spirit of reading the poetry and just wanting things that spoke to me, things that had beautiful imagery, things that made me think about things in a different way, things that inspired me, things that challenged me. So the poems that I chose all fit that category, and I think that was kind of at the top of my list more than solve the polar ice caps melting and all the polar bears and all the terrible things going on. I didn't pay as much attention to that as I was reading, but there were beautiful poems that came out. And as Anne mentioned, several of our writers, were not able to come and read because of the distance that they were. Thank goodness for social media. We put out a call and we advertised on Facebook and people shared it all over the place, and we had this wide variety of people, which was also really wonderful. So since they couldn't all be here, I'm going to read for them, for the poets who could not be here, and then I will introduce the poets who are here. So the first poem that I'm reading is by Lucinda Marshall. She is an artist, activist, and writer who started the first recycling center in Phoenix in her parents' garage in the 60s, served as a teen consultant on a bicycle trail study with Sandra Day O'Connor, built a solar cooker from recycled materials, then illustrated Building Your Own Solar Greenhouse, a book that was published in 1980. She is director of the Feminist Peace Network and has published environmental pieces and poetry in such places as Common Dreams, Stepping Stones, Poetica, and Isle. You can find her blog, Reclaiming Medusa, at lucindamarshall.com. Her poem is titled, The Lilies Were in Bloom. The lilies were in bloom at the lake today while an oil rig exploded in the Gulf and a methane gas time bomb ticked below the Arctic, and radiation leaked from Fukushima while we fracked the earth until it quaked and performed mastectomies on mountains. Again and again, we inflict mortal wounds upon the earth, assuring our own demise. But today, at the lake, the lilies were in bloom. Applause for Lucinda. Jim Lewis is a poet, musician, and nurse practitioner. His poetry and music reflect the difficulty and joy of human interactions and draw inspiration from his decades of experience in healthcare. When he is not writing, composing, or diagnosing, he's on a kayak, exploring and photographing the waterways near his home in California. You can find him on Facebook at Jim Lewis, or Poetry on Tap, or at www.jlewisweb.com. His poem is titled Quiet Time. We trespass with indifference, this private park, laughing at the geese, more tame than nature intended, who greet us, hissing, "Feed us, feed us." Following to the pond edge, nervously, awkwardly pacing, waiting. It is windy here. Leaf boats sail from tree to pond and on across, no rudder and no destination. Willow and her sisters shake their green hair in the breeze, bending, swaying, dipping, coyly out of reach, inches above the calling water. My youngest explores her purple on black sweater and pants a signal flag against the grass, while I test a well-worn bench. I do not speak. Just listen to the rhythm of the ripples, mine wandering with the geese who waddle back to see if magically I might have a scrap or two to toss them, puzzled at my empty hands. I laugh, but not aloud. This is quiet time. Barbara Unger's fourth book of poems, Immortal Medusa, is forthcoming from the WordWorks. Prior books include Charlotte Bronte, You Ruined My Life, Thrift, and The Origin of the Milky Way, which won the Givell Press Poetry Award and a Silver IPPY Award, a Hoffer Award, and Adirondack Center for Writing Poetry's Award. She directs the MFA program at the College of St. Rose in Albany, New York. You can read her work at barbaraunger.net. Her poem is titled Immortal Medusa. Turritopsis dorni, the size of a pinky nail, a berry or blossom, and a clear bell jar trailing Medusa hair. Of all the animals, only this tiny jellyfish can do what we only dream, grow younger. Tentacles resorb, umbrella reverts. Medusa reattaches to the ocean floor and grows a new colony of polyps that bud into identical medusae, bypassing death. From the Caribbean, they've taken ship, a worldwide silent invasion. 500 million years old, sans brains, bones, or breath. They can do this forever.